Hello folks, welcome to Outdoors with Bud. I'm your host, Bud Fields. You know, I want to talk to you about something today that I think it maybe is often overlooked. It's the springtime of the year and we've all had cabin fever. You know, the guys that's got boats, they're wanting to get out and go boating, whether it's recreational boating or maybe even skiing. There's a lot of bass tournaments going on and crappie fishing. And with it being early spring like this, especially if you're fishing big bodies of water or if you're fishing like reservoirs, it can be very, very, very dangerous. The thing about fishing in the spring, it can be a lot of fun and you can catch some nice fish. But what you got to watch is the weather. The water level, especially on the reservoirs this time of the year, is very unstable. A lot of places are flooded. I know that there's been times in early spring that I went out to take the boat cover off my boat the morning of a bass tournament, and maybe I'll have 2 or 3 inches of snow on it. And if there's anything that makes you want to crawl back in bed, is to go out there to your boat and have it covered in snow. But I wanted to touch base with you today because you got to remember when you're operating a boat, you don't have any brakes on that. Would you drive your car down the street or out on the highway 60 or 70 mile an hour with no brakes? I don't think you would consider that. I mean, you can always throw your vehicle or your boat into neutral, but you're still going to glide, and it's going to take you quite a ways to glide. But some of the things you need to watch for, especially on the reservoirs. I fished a few bass tournaments that the water was so high when you come out of the parking lot. You did not have to drive down the ramp to the water level. The water was up almost even with the parking lot. There was no slope. You just drove up there and turned around and you launched your boat. All right, now visualize, if you will. Let's say you're running 60, 65, maybe 70 mile an hour going down the waterway. There's a lot of debris that's going to be floating. I have seen trees that had fallen in the storms and was laying maybe on the side of the bank, and when that water raised up, that started floating. When you're going to speeds like that, you're not going to see that stuff until after you hit it most of the time. I have seen guys bust the propellers off of their boats. I've seen them knock the lower units off of their boats by hitting something like that. I've seen them even, a couple guys at one time was at the reservoir. They got into the stump field. They didn't even know it was there, and they hit it, and they cracked the back of the transom where the motor bolts on to the boat. Now, that can be very expensive, and you can get hurt. I mean, that's like I tell everybody, like even in the summertime when you're up there and there's people skiing. If you're a skier, and if you slip and fall off the skis or something, there's other boats up there. You got to remember that the human head is not too big of a diameter. And the faster the guy's going, especially if he's not wearing glasses or goggles, his eyes can get to watering from the wind hitting him in the face. And the human head is like this. I always tell everybody, should you fall out of your boat and you see any boats, you use your arms. Go waving your arms. You want to be seen because nobody wants to have any accidents out there. Now, what I like to do is, I had a couple of CB radios in the past that I had the weather weather channel on it. I would check the weather forecast before I left my house. And I checked it when I got to the boat ramp. I wanted to know if there was any storms coming in the area, about what time they would arrive, and if I had to put the boat back on the trailer, I would do that. And a lot of people, they take it for granted. Well, it's going to be nice. Well, it might be, but you never know what Mother Nature is going to throw at you. And if you do see something like that, we've had people break down with their boats, and when you're going, they were waving at you. Well, you don't know whether they're waving hello to you, or most of the time, if they're crossing their hands like this, that's kind of a universal signal that they need help. We lost a tournament because we were coming in during the summer, and it was like 90-some degrees. The people were camping. It was a young family. They had a young kid in the boat. I mean, it was actually a baby. I mean, and they had it covered up. But the boat that they had rented, it broke down on them, and they didn't know how to get that boat running. And when we was coming, we had a limit of bass in the live well. We left early to come back to the ramp because we knew that we would have a good chance of either winning or placing in the money. When we went around the corner, we glanced over and we seen this boat, and the people were standing up and waving. I thought, well, maybe as often as I'd fished that body of water, maybe that was somebody that I knew. It might have been a friend or a family, and they were waving. Well, we waved back, and as we went past them, I got to thinking, maybe something was wrong. Well, we were hurrying to get back. We decided to go over there, and it's a good thing we did. I mean, these people was sunburnt. They was almost beet red, and here they had this young kid with a young baby, and they had a little bit of that like a sheet over it to try to keep it out of the sun. They had no water. We had in our cooler, we had cold water, so we gave them some water. We towed them back to the campground ramp where they were. Now, we had the fish that would have won the tournament. We were late getting back. Now, did we do the right thing? I mean, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get praise from the people that know you and know that you're a good fisherman. But I think we done the right thing, because what would have happened if they would have had a heat stroke out there with that baby? We took them back in. We got up the ramp. We knew we were disqualified. We did not try to protest it. Yes, we done a good deed, but to me, that was more important than whatever we would have won. But when you're out in the water in this type of and weather like this, you gotta be careful. If your boat has got a kill switch, make sure it's connected. A kill switch is it connects to your ignition, a little button that goes in and out. The kill switch prong holds that button in, which is making all the contact to your batteries, from your battery to your outboard and everything. It's got a cord on it that will come back and fasten to the D-ring on your life vest. What this is for is if you get ejected out of that boat, there's a natural tendency for the boat to go in circles, basically to the right. Why it goes to the right, I cannot answer that. But most of the times when somebody's thrown out of the boat, that boat will automatically turn to the right. And if you get knocked unconscious, that boat can come around, or whether you're unconscious or not, I mean, you can always get hurt, but that boat could come around, and if you get chewed up by that propeller, that's not going to be very, very fun. But if you don't have a kill switch, I recommend that you get one installed. If you're fishing any of the bass tournaments, that is mandatory that you have a working kill switch on your boat. And if you do see somebody like that, whatever you do, I mean, even if you make the mistake of going over there and they were just waving hi to you, that's fine. But like in that situation, I don't know how many boats had went past these people and thought they were just waving hi. And it can be done. I mean, we have had people wave to us when we went by. We would wave to them and keep going. But these people, they were giving it this, and we thought we better go back and check it. And I'm awfully glad we did. So, hey, bear that in mind. Make sure you got a good life jacket. Make sure you're wearing it. Anytime that outboard motor is running, you are required to have your life jacket on, not just laying there. So, folks, I hope maybe that information is going to help save your life, maybe save somebody else's. And it's very expensive to have any damage to your boat done by the floating debris that you don't see. And don't just think it might be a little tree limb, because it could be more hooked onto that's not visible. So, hey, everybody get out and get your boats out, get them ready to put them on the water, have a great time, and catch a lot of fish, and take people out and take kids fishing with you too. So, thanks a lot for joining me, and look forward to seeing you again on more Outdoors with Bud segments. God bless you.